press the bell icon on the YouTube app and never miss another update.
Hello students, we have been studying the chapter weather, climate and adaptation of animals to the particular climate, right? So in our previous classes we have learned what weather and climate are. Okay, so weather is nothing but the atmospheric condition on a daily basis. Okay, on a day-to-day basis it is the atmospheric condition based on the temperature, rainfall, wind speed, like that. Okay, it is just a short-term atmospheric condition even on hourly basis. Okay, but whereas climate means it is a long term atmospheric condition. Okay, long term is around 20 to 25 years. Okay, so that is climate. It is the average weather pattern taken for these many years. Okay, and we have seen what what are the adaptations of animals, or the people, or the different types of animals. Okay, we people we can adapt to different types of seasons, right? In summers we use light colored clothes, or very cotton clothes, so that's how we can easily, or better way to pass that season. Okay, so in winters we use this woolen clothes, socks and everything, so that's how we people adapt to the seasons. Even the animals have different adjustments in their body or even in their behavior, so that it is easy for them to survive in the different climatic conditions. Okay, it may be extreme hot conditions or even in the extreme cold conditions. Okay, so animals have different types of adjustments. Okay, so we have been studying that, and we have seen the adaptation of polar bears. Okay, so these polar bears, they live in the polar region, that is extreme north and south region. Okay, so that is the polar region where we can find extremely cold condition. Okay, so all the way it will be very snowy. Okay, so in that extreme condition, how do these animals survive there? Okay, so these have different types of adjustments, body adjustments we can say. Okay, so that's how they can easily survive. Okay, they have white fur, right? So they have thick fur, they have extra fat layer on them, and even their feet or their paws are very wide, so that they can easily walk, and they can easily swim in the water in that place. Okay, so that's how they adjust to that environment. And if we leave that polar bear to survive in the hot conditions, that cannot survive. Okay, because it is adjusted to that particular region. Okay, so that is the adaptations what they have, okay, to survive in their typical atmosphere or in the typical location they are found in. Okay, so we have also seen the adaptations of penguins, right? So even it's the same, it does also live in the polar regions. Okay, so it also has a white body. Okay, so that it can hard to recognize them. Okay, so it can save itself from the predators by its color. And also these penguins mostly stay in groups only to provide warmness. Okay, and even these penguins have webbed feet. Okay, so that it is easily for them to walk, and their wings are not like typical wings of any other birds. It is flipper like. Okay, so that it can even fly underwater. Okay, and the body of the penguin is streamlined body. So these are all the features which makes this animal to survive in the extreme polar region, right? So let us study few more examples of few more animals and their adaptations, how they survive in the different atmospheric conditions they live in. Okay, so let us see the adaptations of fishes. Okay, so we all know how these fishes look like, right? So it has a streamed body. Again, it has some streamlined body. Okay, it has even gills and tail. So it looks like that. Okay, so what do you mean when I say streamlined body? Okay, for example, what is the structure of aeroplane? Okay, it is just something like this, right? So it has this streamlined body. Okay, and it has wings over it. Okay, so this is not exactly the aeroplane, I mean, okay, but yeah, this is what it looks like, right? This is what I'm trying to say. Streamline means the front and the back will be narrow and the middle part will be very broad. So this makes the aeroplane to avoid or to resist the friction of air. Okay, it is that medium here in case of aeroplane, the medium it travels is air. Okay, so this body type makes it reduce the friction so that it can easily fly away. Okay, it's the same way in the fishes also. Even this has streamlined body, right? Okay, so this makes to reduce the friction in the medium it travels, and that medium it lives in is water, right? So it reduces the resistance of water flow, and it can live or move easily. So that is what streamlined body means. Okay. Yes, so and the basic important structure here is it has streamlined body. So this structure helps in the medium or to reduce the friction in the medium they travel in. Okay, and another thing is they have gills. Okay, so we people, we have nostrils, nose for the respiration, but these do not have a typical organ for the respiration, but instead they have a structure called gills. Okay, so that helps them in the intake and outtake of gases, that is it helps in the respiration. Okay, and yes, these fishes are found in different shapes and sizes. Okay, so we know that fishes are of so many types. Few are small, few are big, few are very broad. Okay, so few are very narrow, few are like few fishes have streamlined or straight body. They have many of their modifications in their structure. Okay, why is that? Because they need to even adapt themselves to different types of water they live in. Okay, so that is they have different shapes and sizes. Okay, and another point is, yes, these have fins and tails. Again, these have these fins and tails which helps them to for the movement, for the particular movement and direction. Okay, to control in fact. Okay, so these fishes have fins and tail. Okay, so that they can control. They move very fast in the water. Okay, so that is their habitat. Yes, in their habitat they move very fast. Okay, so while they are moving very fast, they even need to control their movement. They need to control their body movement. For that, they have these fins and tails. Okay, so this presence of this fins and tails helps them to control the movement and direction of the body. Okay, they'll be moving right, left, up, down. So that movement is controlled by this fins and tails. And yes, since it is that habitat itself, they are very fast swimmers. Okay, so these fishes are very fast swimmers. Why? Because since they live in water, there itself they need to find their food. Okay, so these fishes feeds on different types of small organisms or even the insects. Okay, they need to go and catch them. Okay, that's the reason they are very fast swimmers. And also big fishes eat the small fishes, right? For that they need to be very fast and steady. Okay, so these are very fast swimmers to feed on the prey. Okay, to catch the food they need. Okay. So these are the modifications, or we can say adaptations of fishes. Okay, so these all factors makes them to live in the water. Okay, so there is our streamlined body firstly. Okay, so this makes them to reduce the water flow, reduce the resistance of the water flow, and they can move easily. Okay, so this is the streamlined body that they have. And also they have a structure or a body organ called gills. Okay, that helps them to for the respiration, for movement of gases. We have a typical organ, lungs. Okay, so we have a nose. Okay, nostrils, all that for the respiration itself. We take gases in and out by our nose. Okay, but these have gills. Okay, for their respiration mainly, and they are found in different shapes and sizes. Okay, also they have fins and tails to control the movement and direction of their body. Okay, and yes, they are fast swimmers to catch and eat whatever they want. Okay, so these are the adaptations of fishes, okay, which makes them easily to survive in the water habitat. Now let us know the adaptations of birds. Yes, when I say birds, the most important feature they have is they can fly, right? Unlike us, they can just fly wherever they want. Okay, so that is the most basic and important feature or the adaptation they have. Okay, so and they fly. Okay, so what is the reasons they can adapt their their atmosphere above there? Okay, even this has a streamlined body. Like I explained, this streamlined body helps them to reduce the resistance of the medium they fly or they. So in fishes we saw to reduce the resistance of this water flow, they had this streamlined body which made them to move easily, right? So it's the same case in the birds also. Even they have a narrow front and back, but the middle part will be very broad. Okay, so that is the streamlined body they have. Yes, again it is to reduce the resistance of the air. Here the medium is air, so that body type helps them to fly easily. Okay, so that is the streamlined body. And again these are having light weight. So why you think these can fly? It's because they are very lightweight. And why they are light in weight? It's because they have hollow bone marrow. Okay, so in our case we have filled bone marrow, but the bone marrow, the inside the bone, okay, so it's empty. Okay, not hollow bone is. So these birds have hollow bone marrow because it does not have anything inside their bones. So when I say if there is nothing inside, that object will be very light, right? Okay, when the box is empty inside, it's very light. Okay, when the box is very filled with many of the things, it's very heavy. Okay, so it's the same case. When the bones inside it's hollow, there's nothing inside the bones, so they that makes them lightweight and makes them to fly. Okay, so that is the reason they can fly. It's hollow bones. Okay, they do not have bone marrow. Okay, and yes, again they have long flight feathers and tail. Again, these features makes them to fly easily, and yes, they have good eyesight. Yes, why do they have good eyesight? It's because, see, they are flying above, right? They fly above so many kilometers away. Okay, from there they need to find their prey over here. Okay, to the ground they need to find their food, like where is my food present, where to go. Okay, so from there itself they need to see where exactly they can find their prey. So their eyesight should be very keen and very good. Okay, so that is the reason they have good eyesight. Okay, so they can easily see their prey or their food right above from there. Okay, so that is the reason they have very good eyesight. And also while they are flying above, when they land, okay, they need to find a clear place. Okay, they a safe landing, we can say. For the safe landing, when they land, they should not just crash. Okay, so whenever they land, they need to find a safe place. Okay, even for that also they have a good sight. Okay, so this good eyesight is basically for prey to catch. Okay, to have their food, to eat whatever they want, they need to observe very well from the above itself. Okay, so that's when if they find some insect or a big animal or something, so from there itself they'll know and they'll come and eat it. Okay, and for a place to land, from above itself they'll see and they'll come and be there. Okay, so for that they need a very keen observation. That is why they have a very good eyesight. Okay, and also these birds have different beaks. Okay, different birds, yes, again these birds have different types of structure, different shapes, right? Yes, the basic shape is, yes, of course, the streamline body, but again the sizes differ, and also the structure of beaks, it differs. Okay, for example, a parrot. Okay, this parrot has, yes, everyone has seen this parrot, I hope, isn't it? So this parrot has a very curved beak. Okay, right, a very curved beak, so that it can easily feed on, it mostly eats the seeds and grains. Okay, so to crash it, or to crack the grains, it has a typical curved shaped beak. Okay, and also, yes, the duck. Yes, you might have seen, like these ducks have no flat beak, and here there is this opening present here. Okay, so this is the beak of the duck, and what happens in this case is, yes, ducks usually lives in water, right? So they'll be feeding on water, they'll eat muddy water, dirty water, etc. So what happens, there is some dust and dirty particles also getting inside with that water. What happens, this hole, okay, this hole in their beak makes them to throw out or wash away the dirty particle what they have taken in. Okay, so this duck has this structure of beak, okay, with a hole in it, so that any extra dirty particle or waste material, okay, throughout the waste material, they have this hole on their beak. So these are the modifications, the adjustments of their body to live in there, or to have to survive in the condition they live in. Okay. Also, yes, eagle has a very sharp beak, very sharp and very strong. Okay, something like this. Yes, so this is how the beak of eagle looks like, right? Somewhat, yes. Yes, it is very strong and very sharp. Okay, why do you think it's very strong? It's because eagle feed on another animals or any other insects, right? So it eats, flesh. It need to tear the flesh and eat. Okay, for that purpose, its beak is made very strong. Okay, so it feeds on any different animals. Okay, so that is the reason its beak is very strong, and yes, it is strong to tear the flesh of animals. Okay. And again, woodpecker. Woodpecker has a very long beak. Okay, this woodpecker has very long beak because what is the main function, or what it exactly does, the woodpecker? Yes, it drills the hole in the wood, right? That is, it's called woodpecker. Okay, so this beaks makes it to drill hole in the woods. Okay, so that's how its beak is made. Okay, it's naturally, these are made naturally to, these are the adaptations or the adjustments for their body behavior. Also, yes, many other birds and for example sparrow and many other different birds have very small beak. Okay, very small and normal beak to eat small grains or small insects like that. Okay, so these are some of the modifications in the birds in their beaks, so that they can easily feed on what they are meant to, right? So an example, also there is a bird called toucan. It has a very large beak. Okay, a bird called toucan, it has very large and long beak, so that it can feed on fruits or branches. Okay, roots or branches. So these are some of the modifications or the body adjustments of these birds, right? So that they can, it becomes easy for them to survive in the condition what they are living in. Okay, so these birds have a streamlined body, okay, and also they are very light in weight because they do not have bone marrow, okay, like we people do, but they have a hollow bone. There is nothing inside their bone, it's hollow. So whatever an object empty is, it will be very light, right? Okay, so that's how it works here. So without this bone marrow, they feel very light, right? And with the help of this body structure, they can fly over. And also they have very long flight feathers and tail. And they have good eyesight. So why do they have good eyesight? To catch prey. Okay, to catch prey and for safe landing. They cannot just come and land, and crash it. So that's why they have good eyesight. They can see a safe place and land properly. They come and be there. Okay, so these have good eyesight to catch prey and for safe landing. And yes, of course, birds are found in different sizes and everything. So even they have different type of beaks. Okay, the examples of some of here. That is, parrot has a curved beak so that it can easily crack the grains and seeds it feed on. Okay, and also the duck has a flat beak and with a hole on it. Okay, so that it whatever it takes or whatever food it takes, so throughout the waste particles. Also the eagle has a very strong beak because it eats the other animals. Okay, so to tear the flesh, it needs a very strong beak. Okay, and also this woodpecker, to drill holes in the wood, it has a very long and strong beak again. And sparrow and many other birds have a very small beak to eat the other insects or to eat the grains likewise. And there is example called one more bird, that is toucan, of which it has a very long and large beak so that it can easily feed on fruits and branches. Okay, so this is about the adaptations of these birds. Yes, and one more point, most important point is that these birds can migrate. Okay, so these birds can migrate. So what does migration or migratory birds mean? Okay, so yes. When these birds are having unfavorable condition, okay, so when these birds are having very extreme cold or winter season or winter region, what they do is these birds just fly away. Okay, they go on moving, they go on to some place where it is not that cold or where it is better than this region or where it is hot or humid condition. Okay, so these birds, when they find unfavorable conditions, okay, so when these birds find unfavorable conditions, that is not the normal condition what they can live in. Okay, so if they find unfavorable conditions, what they do, they just fly away to a place which suits them better to live. That is, they move on or they fly away. They fly away in groups. Okay, they make groups. They just fly away from that extreme climatic condition place to a more better place. Okay, where they feel more better. Okay, they can even fly in kilometers, like thousands and thousands of kilometers. They just can fly. Okay, so that movement when they when birds having unfavorable conditions and move on to a favorable place. Okay, that process. Okay, that movement of the birds or that process is called migration. Okay, so this is one of the important feature of these birds. Okay, that's how they adjust, or that is their body nature or body type. Like when they find the unfavorable condition, they just go away to a different place, and after that season ends, okay, again they come back to the same place. Okay, so that is one of the important feature. And what do you think how they find? Okay, now if in this place, if they having unfavorable condition or unfavorable climatic terms, okay, so what they do, they just fly away to a place which is more favorable from them. Okay, but how do they know where to go? Okay, here now we know, like if we are not feeling good in this place, we'll just take we'll just take buses or trains or any other means of transport. We'll just take tickets and we'll go to some other place. Okay, we know how to go. But how come these birds travel? Okay, how do they know, like this place is not good for us or where exactly to go? Okay, so these birds naturally what they have some extra sense. Okay, so yes, our body will know when we have unfavorable conditions. Okay, when we cannot survive, when it is difficult for us to stay in the same place which has having extreme conditions, what these birds do, they just move away to different place. Okay, so while moving, they'll somehow know, they have this extra sense which makes them to to go on a place which is more favorable for them. Okay, so still it's a mystery only how do these birds find a favorable place. But yes, this is their adaptation. Okay, so that is how they migrate from an unfavorable place to a favorable one. Okay, so that process is what we call migration. And not only these birds, okay, even many fishes or insects, etc. So even these are also migrate from place to place. Okay, whenever they find unfavorable condition or extreme climatic conditions, okay, when they find that yes, we cannot live here anymore, so they just what they do, they just migrate to a different place. Okay, not only birds, even fishes, insects and many other animals also migrate, but this migration is more prominent in birds. Okay, so this is about the migration of birds. Okay, so this is for today's class. We'll study adaptation of different animals. Okay, so in our next classes. Okay, in this class we have seen what are the adaptations of fishes and birds. Okay, how do they adjust in their environments. Okay, in the next class we'll be studying more on this adaptations of different animals. Thank you.